How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be looking at what Chamath has to say on the number one secret to becoming rich. Because we all know that billionaires, they have this one secret that they have that they don't tell anyone, and this is how they become rich. We all know that, right? So for those who don't know, Chamath Palihapitiya, he's a modern day investor. In some ways, he's like a younger Warren Buffett, except he invests in newer technology stocks instead of traditional value-oriented stocks. So let's see what he says on his number one secret to becoming rich.
Today, what do you think is one of the best ways for us to amass capital on a risk-adjusted basis?
I mean, the last part is just such a sellout part. A risk-adjusted base. I don't know, fucking buy some bonds? I mean, I don't know. Here's what I would tell you, man. I think if you ask me who's building the most important indelible company in the world, I've been very public about this, I think it's Jeff Bezos. Part of what he realized was the value of slow compounding. So here's my little theory about company value creation. The faster you build it, that is the half-life. It will get destroyed in the same amount of time. And so when you think about a lot of like social businesses, that's played out. And when you see sort of like what the top, so like, you know, does it take 8, 9, 10 years to build a really great consumer business? It'll take 8, 9, 10, 12 years to destroy it. And we may see the tipping point on a couple of these.
That's a very interesting theory from Chamath. I don't know if I necessarily agree 100% with what he's saying. He's saying if it takes, let's say, 10 years to build up a strong business, it's going to take 10 years for that business to collapse. So the longer you take with your business or whatever you're creating to build it up and build it up strong with a strong base, the longer that it's going to last. So that's interesting for the stocks that you invest in.
These businesses, right now, we may be seeing it in front of our eyes, regulatory or otherwise. So why is that an important statement? Amassing capital to me is about finding a smart, useful solution to a very hard, practical problem and being slow and methodical. And again, this is what I'm saying. You have to rewire your brain for that to be okay. How do you, in year 2 or year 5, come back to this room for your, what is it called when you get reunion? And say, I'm still working on the same thing. And when somebody says, and how's it going? You have the courage to say, it's hard. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know. But if you figure it out and you have this moderate growth, moderate compounding.
The ability to work on something for a long period of time and not get much results and still stick to it is such an important key to success and actually becoming rich. For example, my own story, which is YouTube on my other page, it took me a year to build it up to about maybe 4,000 subscribers. And in that first year, I think I earned maybe like $100 or something. But I stick to it because I was passionate about what I did. And in the second year, I earned like 200,000. And in the third year, I was on about 400,000. So just the ability to stick to something, even when you're not getting any results, any money, is such an important key to success. And this is what he's saying.
That is the key. That's gold. You know, I look at like our returns and it's so funny because it's like, you can get so enthralled by IRRs in our business. And like, you know, I have friends who run other organizations and they're like, we posted 92% IRR. And I'm like, well, you can't eat IRR. What does it really mean? And when you unpack it, what you realize is like fast money returns can completely really decay long-term thinking and sound judgment. And so I'm like, wow, I would really love to just compound at 15% a year. And the reason is because if I can do that for 50 years, that's $250 billion, like some crazy number. Like, it's just enormous. So it's like slow and steady against hard problems. Start by turning off your social apps and giving your brain a break. Because then you will at least be a little bit more motivated to not be motivated by what everybody else fucking thinks about you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's hard. Think about how all this stuff plays together. How does trying to get, posting your fucking waffles online relate to me starting a business and accumulating capital? This is wiring your brain for super fast feedback. It's the same brain you're using to build a company. Don't think they're not the same. Do you know what I'm saying? No? Yes? No? Yes! Yes, right? You have one brain. So you're training your brain here.
This is such a key point. He's saying if you train your brain to be constantly wanting rewards for small and sort of superficial things, for example, going on Instagram and seeing some likes on a post, you're training your brain that way just to get short dopamine hits all the time, instead of training your brain to be slow and steady and having the ability to think and build up a strong business with a strong base over time. So quit those social media activities that are just training your brain for quick dopamine hits and quick likes, and start actually building up the base of your business. Every great entrepreneur, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, they had to build the base of their business, and this took years and years of hard, slow work. Instead of just making a post on Instagram and getting some likes and feeling good and training your brain for those quick reward hits. So you really have to watch out for that.
Whether you think it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, acknowledge that these things where you're spending hours a day are rewiring your psychology and physiology in a way that now you have to use to go and figure out how to be productive in the commercial world. So if you don't change this, you are going to get the same behaviors over here. Change this. There's a reason why Steve Jobs was like anti-social media. I am telling you I'm not on these fucking apps. I'm not him by any stretch of the imagination. But I am proactively trying to rewire my brain chemistry to not be short-term focused. I'm telling you they're linked.
That's a very interesting point that he makes. But how many of us are actually not on social media? How many of you who want to become rich, of course, we all want to become rich pretty much, right? How many of you have actually quit social media altogether in order to focus on your business? Now, obviously, this is different if your business actually needs social media, which a lot of businesses do. Mine does. In order, I create content as a full-time job. I need to be on social media. But for a lot of other businesses, you really don't need social media. You just need to be focusing on creating and building that business itself, not wiring your brain constantly for dopamine hits. So that's something to think about from Chamath Palihapitiya.